Good evening, Northern Colorado. This is Ron, K0AZA. I'm located in Fort Collins, and I'll be net control for tonight's NCARC TechNet. The purpose of the TechNet is to enlighten amateur radio operators on topics of a technical nature. We'll do our best to answer any technical questions for the benefit of all those who are listening. If there's a subject that's never been made quite clear to you, this is a great opportunity to find an answer. If anyone feels they have information that will help regarding that subject, please give your call sign and net control will call on you. Let me do a reset. This net may be interrupted at any time for emergencies or priority traffic. If you need to use the system for an emergency during the net, say break and give your call sign. We'll acknowledge you and suspend the net until you advise that you are clear. Is there any emergency or priority traffic at this time? All licensed amateur radio operators with 70-centimeter privileges are encouraged to check into the net. NCARC club membership is encouraged but never required for participation. Check-ins are requested for the purpose of counting participation, and no checkout is required. This is K0AZA, net control for tonight's NCARC TechNet. When checking in, please give your call sign slowly, first alphabetically, then again using the ITU phonetic alphabet, along with your name and location. When checking in, please state if you have a topic you'd like to discuss. Check-ins will be taken in groups of 3. When I've acknowledged the first group of 3, I'll then move on to the next group of 3. I'll start by taking check-ins from Echolink. Anyone on Echolink, please call now. Hearing no one on Echolink, I'll now take check-ins from call suffixes Alpha through Mike. Alpha through Mike, please call now.
This is W0LEI, Whiskey 0, Lima Echo India, Chad, and Stout.
This is Kilo Echo 4, Alpha Lima Golf, KE4ALG, Todd and Fort Collins.
This is KF0ODD, Kilo Foxtrot 0, Oscar Delta Delta, no traffic.
Let's hold up there. The net acknowledges W0LEI, KE4ALG, and KF0ODD. If I could take the next group of 3, go ahead now.
Good evening, Ron. This is Kilo 0, Hotel Alpha Kilo, K0, HAK, Dave, in Fort Collins.
This is WB5TEX, Whiskey Bravo 5, Tango Echo X-Ray, Dale, Loveland, no traffic.
Kilo 0, Mike Lima Golf, K0MLG, Marty, Wellington.
Let's hold up there. The net recognizes K0HAK, WB5TEX, and K0MLG. Next group of 3, go now.
0CF, Alpha, Echo, 0, Charlie, Foxtrot, Ben, Fort Collins.
The net acknowledges AE0CF, and let's go ahead and open it up to everyone. Alpha through Zulu, please call now.
This is KB0YBN, Kilo Bravo 0, Yankee Delta November, Eric, Pinewood Lake.
This is K5SGC, Kilo 5 Sierra Golf Charlie, Dave in Fort Collins.
This is N0NYY, November 0, November Yankee, Bart, and Evans. I am with N0QXQ, November 0, Quebec, X-Ray, Quebec, Gene, also in Evans. Good evening.
Okay, let's hold up there, please. The net acknowledges KB0YBN, K5SGC, N0NYY, and N0QXQ. Next group of 3, go now.
KG6OBC, Kilo Golf 6, Oscar Bravo Charlie, Justin Mobile, All.
This is Whiskey 0 Alpha Sierra Papa, W0ASP, Terry in Berthoud.
And 0 BNK, November 0, Bravo, November Kilo, Rick in the port.
Let's hold up there. The net recognizes KG6OBC, W0ASP, and N0BNK. Next group of 3, go now.
This is Box 0 Oscar, Mike 1 Jack in Windsor, no traffic for the net. That is KF0ONU.
Okay, the net acknowledges, and I forgot where I left off. I think I left off at W0ASP, N0BNK, and KF0ONU. Any other check-ins, Alpha through Zulu? Okay, well, let's go ahead and move on then. If there are any other late check-ins, we can take them later. Nobody said that they had a topic for the net. Does anyone have any questions for the net tonight?
Yeah, I
didn't want anyone.
Go ahead, Chad.
Okay, this just occurred to me recently because one of my antennas blew down and I'm in the process of putting it back up. But I have a 37-foot rotatable dipole with 40 meters only. And but with my tuner, I can tune up to 6 meters with it. I'll let this break for a second. And what my concern, even though there's a lot of metal up there, but I was wondering about the efficiency. With the tuner, all you're doing is making the load appear to be 50 ohms for the transmitter, so but the efficiency factor, and also there's 2 relatively small traps in it, would be tuned for 40 meters, and I'm hitting it with some power, so I was wondering about efficiency and possible damage to the traps. LAI by
W0ASP with a comment.
Go ahead, Terry.
Well, this gets back to basic antenna theory. If you don't have an antenna that has a matched impedance, then you're not going to put much power out, and your so-called antenna tuner simply is a transmitter pacifier. It allows your radio to try to put some energy into the antenna, and the amount of energy the antenna radiates is going to depend on its natural impedance.
LAI here. That's kind of where I was thinking. It seems to function reasonably well on 20, and obviously on 15 meters there seems to be no issues. My thought was efficiency, and I was concerned or thinking that should be something to be concerned about. Thank you, W0LEI. Bye.
Anybody else have any input or comments on Chad's question? Okay, hearing none, does anyone else have any questions or comments for the net? Go ahead, Bart, the floor is yours.
Those of you that may not be aware, this Wednesday, the day after tomorrow, is the Loveland Ham Luncheon. It is at Perkins on 34, 2222 West Eisenhower. We typically start at about 11:30, and I'm having some weird noise on my signal, Ron.
Yeah, you kind of got drowned out by a bunch of noise and then sounded like you lost the repeater.
Most peculiar. Am I clear now?
Yeah, that sounded good.
Okay, ham radio lunch. This Wednesday, 11:30 a.m., Perkins and Loveland, 2222 West Eisenhower, which is also 34 if anyone's not aware. Very, very good opportunity to get together, meet some of these people you've been listening to for however long. And typically there are a large number of years of radio experience. I think the last time we count total radio experience was close to 900. Ham radio experience was close to 500 years. But there was a lot of people and a lot of older hams there on that. So it was one of the highest numbers we've seen. But it's a great opportunity to get together, eat lunch, have food. Mark used to call it TechNet with lunch, and just a great social thing. So anybody and everybody is invited. You do not have to be a club member. It is not technically a club event. You don't even have to be a ham. If you're curious, would like to show up and show up and
Thanks, Bart, and FYI, you sounded fine until just to the point that you were about to say back to net, and that noise came back in again. So, not sure what that is. Anybody else have anything for the net tonight? Going once, this could be a short net. A station that just called you were real weak. Could you try that again, please? Yeah, I got nothing but noise that time. If you're on an HT, if you could try moving a few feet one way or the other, that might help. No? Bart, do you think we might be having repeater problems? He was coming in and I heard just a first half a syllable of audio and then that noise came in.
I think it's somebody with a weak signal around KZRMLG.
Okay, Marty, you and Bart stomped on each other, but that's kind of what I wanted to know. Station trying to call in. Let's try it one more time, see if we can hear you this time. Go ahead.
This is KE4ALG with a new antenna. How's this?
Oh, much better, Bob. Now we can hear you.
Okay, name here is Todd, KE4ALG. Switched antennas on my handheld. I've been wanting to try the new one. So must have, at some point, changed the programming to lower power, and I can't figure out in an instant how to get through all the menus to change it back. So swapping the antenna was quicker than doing that.
Yeah, gotcha. And I'm sorry, you said your name was Todd. I think I heard Bob when you checked in. Did you have any other questions or anything for us?
I did have one question, a brief topic, I guess. I attended the club Hamfest and was late on arrival to session on antennas for small gardens, or antennas for small plots, or however you want to say it. But I did catch the last 15 minutes or so and was introduced to Colin, the gentleman in the UK who's marketing the DX Commander, bringing that to the US market. So I've been watching a lot of his YouTube videos and whatnot. I also discovered Spider Beam, and they have an option for a vertical sort of system with their setup. You can get a matching device that goes to the base, have radials and adapter to coax and whatnot. So I guess the trade-off there would be you'd have to have a single band operational at the time versus the DX Commander. For those who are familiar, you have multi-bands. So I was wondering if anyone had any experience with either one of these KE4ALG.
Anybody have any first-hand experience with either of those to share with Todd?
LEI.
Go ahead, Chad.
I had a DX Commander, and for a variety of reasons, I did rotate it out, but I found it to be a low-noise vertical comparatively, as verticals get noisy, but it was low noise, and it was relatively unsusceptible to higher winds. It worked excellently. LAI, bye.
Well, that's very helpful. I'm following his channel on social media, looking at comments and whatnot from others who own different products from the X-Commander. I've seen a few poles cracking in the wind and that sort of thing. Looks like his higher end line, I forget what he calls it, goes with a heavier pole, so I'm wondering if he's maybe using the higher end one, if he's actually using the spider bit pole. But it's just hard for me to spend that much on an antenna kit. I'm still struggling with that right now. It's good to hear that you guys get good success.
Yeah, no, sure, I hear. Yes, I had one of the earlier setups with his lighter weight poles, and you would really have to get some pretty heavy winds to bust that over if it's mounted correctly or technically right. At ground level, I would assume that's where mine was, and it did bend over in the wind, but held up quite well. Yeah,
the Signature series, that's I couldn't come up with. He's introduced a new series of a heavier pole. To me, it looks like it's really the spider beam pole, which is made in Germany, not China. We're right here. I'm right here on Overland Trail. My house is the first thing the wind hits when it comes down the foothills. It has two ways
Todd, we lost about the last half of that. You might move around a bit or stick your antenna a different direction.
Okay, well maybe I'll let it go for now, and I'll figure out how to turn up the power on my HD when I get the manual out. KE4ALG. Thanks for the information.
You bet, Todd, and Chad, thank you for that input. Very helpful. Anybody else have any questions, comments, or late check-ins?
MLG.
Before I let you go, Marty, I realized I haven't identified in quite some time. This is K0AZA, net control for the Northern Colorado Amateur Radio Club. Okay, go ahead, Marty.
Well, for those of you that don't know, 10 meters is on fire right now. There was a contest over the weekend that I didn't contest, but I made two notebook pages full of contacts in just a short amount of time, from Turkey to Curacao Island, Russia, Japan, St. Martin, Brazil, just all over the world. And today I talked to a station that I've never heard of these islands. They are in the Southwest Pacific Ocean, which to me, the Pacific's California out that way. Well, you don't realize it wraps around to the other side of the world, or I never remember that. But the Solomon Islands, I talked to today briefly, and then New Zealand a little bit after that. I never did get the guy because he was bragging about running linears, and he really only wanted to talk to people with big radios for break. So that's no big deal. I have 100 watts, and I worked all these stations on 100 watts. Right now, there's a couple guys in Australia chewing the fat. I'm running a vertical antenna. It's an IMAX 2000, They were derived from the Anthride 99, but they're a much better antenna. And I got a couple of friends of mine that are going, well, you know, inverted V or a vertical wire, and I just can't hear these guys very well. Well, the IMAX 2000 has got windings in it, and it just outperforms just a wire antenna, an end-fed half-wave or an inverted V. But if you have the opportunity to have a 10-meter vertical, and all these new radios have built-in tuners, this antenna will run 10, 12, and 15, and 17. Easy. As a matter of fact, I just talked a couple of weeks ago, right, to a commercial airline pilot running passengers from Cabo San Lucas back up to Seattle. And once the plane's on autopilot, he gets his radio out and his computer, and he just starts yik-yakking, making all these contacts. And I said, well, what's your co-pilot think of it? And he said, well, that's the first captain. He just sits over there and listens and gets a chuckle out of stuff sometimes. So I guess the point is 10, 12, 18, really fun on a vertical. You're not going to have much luck on a horizontal wire. I mean, when I go to my wire, I lose about a half of the signal. So if I'm an S9, it'll go down to 3 to 4, go to the wire. So it's a lot of fun. If you can spend some time on 10 during the day and evening, do so. It's a lot of fun. Got a phone call. K0MLG, back to net.
Thanks, Marty. Anybody else? Any comments, questions? YDN, go ahead, Eric.
This is KB0YDN. First off, how copy?
Yeah, you sound good. Full quieting.
Okay. Well, I'm using a different antenna today. The old one decided to completely give up last Monday, and I hadn't found where, so I'm taking the whole assembly out. I'm replacing it, and I'm putting the mount up high like this antenna is mounted. This is my scanner bicone, so I'm without scanners right now, or VHF, UHF receive. Anyway, I'm going to end up with a large amount of LMR 600 and probably at least one bad connector and probably some water contamination if it is a bad connector. So anybody who's got skills with putting on connectors, I might want to talk to you in the near future. I didn't know if this was technical enough or not, but I thought I'd throw it out there anyway. KB0YDN, back to that.
NYY, always happy to help with connectors. W0ISP, I have a lot of experience with LMR 600 and connectors.
Well, once the stuff is completely abandoned from the walls, I want to run a PDR scan on it and see what it looks like, and then separately check out the antenna itself. But I couldn't get into a 2-meter net that has never, ever been a problem for me before last Monday, and it just was astonishingly bad.
Well, I do happen to have a TDR as well as a vector voltmeter, and I can offer to assist.
Well, I'll try to bring everything out in a manageable size so that it's not running through the back of the yard anymore. It still wants to curl up to its original shape, so to that shape it shall return. KB0YDN, back to that.
Great. Sounds like you got a couple of folks there skilled in the art of connector attachment. Any other questions, comments, or late check-ins?
Oscar Bravo Charlie.
Go ahead, Justin.
I was wondering, I've got a MFJ external speaker I've had for years. It's one of those $20, $30 jobbers. And I added it to my mobile install. I put it up above the dome light, so it's actually about right above my right ear. But I've noticed I have an older truck, and they're not as nearly as quiet, creature comfort quiet as newer vehicles. And I find on some of the stations with lower audio or softer voices, it's a little difficult when running down the road. So I came across powered external speakers, and they've got various features of noise reduction, etc. I was curious if anybody had experience with them, and are they worth the price? Because they get quite pricey when you get up in more of those fancier speakers.
In my way.
Go ahead, Bart.
While I have no experience with the, I believe it was tower speakers that you mentioned, I will say that a lot of older speakers, depending on how old you get into 20 and 30 years old, depending on the type of magnet that they have, those magnets tend to lose a lot of their strength over time. A lot of new style speakers are made with neodymium magnets that, first of all, are incredibly powerful for their size and seem to hold their magnetism a lot longer than the older magnetic materials. I have several speakers and several d'Arson voltmeter movements that I have had to dispose of because the magnets had weakened to the point where they were pretty much useless. The satellite speakers for surround sound systems, KLH is one company that makes them. They're a little big probably to go on the roof of your car, but I should imagine you could find the speakers out of them with the modern technology magnets. You might find that those work a whole lot better than the older ones do, and zero in my way.
Thanks, Bart. And along those same lines, Justin, in addition to the magnets, particularly if they're in a vehicle, the cones themselves will eventually either break down or get stiff and don't work very well. So you might just find that a new speaker, depending on how old that one is, might help. The powered I can't really address. I would say that I'd be dubious that any noise reduction would help much because the noise is not coming from the source, it's coming from your vehicle. So kind of hard to take that out when it's not coming from it in the first place, if that makes any sense.
It does. This is, I don't know, the speaker might be about 15 years old, I'm not sure. I've had it for a minute. And it is a cheaper MFJ unit. It's nothing fancy, not top shelf. But yeah, I figured the speakers that have a noise canceling or whatever they call it. There's various speakers on the market I've come across. I figured they're not gonna cancel out the source of the noise, which is a 21-year-old truck that's just loud. So I was just wondering if there's a better speaker. And some of the ones I come across, they're getting closer to a couple $100 a piece, and that's an awfully shiny penny to spend. If I have to, and I know it's going to work good, I don't mind. But if it didn't work, I would be a little bummed out. Well, I was just curious if anybody had any ideas. Anyways, that's it. KG6OBC, back to net.
And 0EMP.
Hi, Greg. I'll check you in and go ahead.
Thank you. I'll late check in for myself and for Debbie K0DBE. And regarding audio in vehicles, I've had a couple vehicles in the past where the built-in stereo system in the vehicle had an auxiliary audio input, and I've been able to patch amateur radio or scanner audio into that. I had to go through a resistor bridge to drop the level down to like headphone level to feed it into the stereo amplifier, but that worked quite well in 0EMP.
Yeah, I've tried that one time, and at least for the style wouldn't be a perfect word, but my experiences with the type of radio operation I have in the truck, just dual band, honestly. I spend most of the time just listening, and usually the repeaters are quiet or the radio is quiet. So I have some music playing in the background. So unfortunately, it didn't work. I didn't feel that it worked for my application, but it was worth a shot. But I appreciate the info, KG6OBC.
And 0MP, let me make sure I still have this. Another thing I did is I had probably a 4-inch external speaker in a plastic case, and I put a couple of eye screws on the sides of it so I could attach some paracord, and I attached it behind my seat, right between the top of the seat and the bottom of the headrest. So in that couple of inches between the headrest and the top of the seat, the speaker was right back there firing forward, so it was right behind my neck, behind the seat and behind the headrest, not in front of it, and that would be uncomfortable otherwise. But the audio was shooting through the gap between the headrest and the seat and right to the back of my neck, and that worked quite well.
Yeah, I have a Ford F-250 3/4-ton truck, and the style of seats that are in it actually does not have adjustable headrests. So I've seen that one. I've seen pictures of that one. That's a great idea.
K5 SGC.
SGC, go ahead.
Yeah, something that might work would be a cheap set of computer speakers that are amplified. I know I picked up a cheap set for my machine for like $30. They run 12 volt. I mean, might be something to look at.
I'll note that and look into it. Thank you, KG6OBC.
MLG.
Go ahead, Marty.
What was the question on the speakers? I wasn't quite in on the front of that. I had to get off the phone. I've got an idea.
Justin, you still out there? Oh, I'm not sure where he went. So, Marty, he has a older truck, a lot of noise through it, and an MFJ external speaker. It's not working very well, so he was looking for options on possibly an amplified speaker that could overcome the truck noise when he's going down the road.
Okay. I run Midland speakers. I actually have 3 on the desk here for 3 different radios, and I have 3 in the pickup, and they do very well. I just looked on Amazon, and Midland also makes an amplified noise cancellation speaker. They're spendy, $130, but these Midlands are $20 or something, and they do a great job. I guess placement is the big thing, but if he's got one of those tiny MFJ things, yeah, they're not good quality. They're not loud, and they're hard to understand anybody. But I guess he's gone, so K0MLG, back to net.
Yeah, well, thanks, Marty. Anybody else? Any other comments, questions, or late check-ins?
K3SAD, late check-in.
I gotcha, thanks.
W0KJM, late check-in.
Hey, stranger, W0KJM acknowledged.
Net Control, KG6OBC.
OBC, there you are. Go ahead.
My apologies. I did hear everybody's comments. I'm hauling a 35-foot trailer behind a pickup, and I had to put the microphone down and pay attention. So anyways, my apologies, and thank you everybody for your inputs. I'll definitely look a bit more into this, and I'll look into those Midland speakers. They're likely more geared towards mobile environments, which would be noisy environments. So I appreciate that suggestion. KG6OBC, back to driving trailer here.
ODD.
ODD, go ahead.
Yeah, I just happen to have on my bench from Electronic Products, Inc., and I think I got it on Amazon. It's number 714. It's Deluxe Communication Extension Speaker. PA talkback noise canceling. Heavy duty 4-inch 10-watt max output, 8 ohms with 10-foot cord with a 3.5 millimeter plug. Swivel back and hardware. Just wanted to put that out there. It's called Workman 714.
Yeah, thanks for that information. You said it was a 714 was the model out of Workman?
Affirmative.
Thanks, I'll look it up as well. Anybody else? Hearing none, this concludes the NCARC TechNet. Net Control would like to thank each station for their participation. We had a total of 20 check-ins tonight. This net will occur again next Monday at the same time on this repeater. This is K0AZA closing the net at 1848 and returning the repeater to normal operation. 73, and good night, everyone.
This presentation was brought to you by the Northern Colorado Amateur Radio Club. For more information, visit our website, ncarc.net. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.